Ladies and gentlemen, honourable members of European Parliament, esteemed representatives from Latin America and Caribbean, I must say it's great to be here, and I must also apologise that my Spanish is not as good as my predecessor's Spanish was, but we will work on that. It's clear that the next decade will shape the rest of the century. We are in this very critical juncture. In fact, right now it feels like the next few days could do this too. The world is very uncertain. It is shaped by war, economic volatility, competition, rejection of global norms and rules, and the looming threat of climate change. In this context, isolation may be tempting to some. To put up barriers of protection and tell yourself that you don't need the rest of the world. This is not the European way. We know from our experience that we are stronger when we do things together. To face the challenges ahead, be it security of our societies, the defence of territorial integrity, the future of AI, or climate change, we need to work together. This starts with partners and allies who share common interests and values. The strength of the EU-LAC relationship comes from a common history of deep ties between our peoples. We share a commitment of values that are not only European but universal: democracy, human rights, the rules-based international order. We also share a belief of pursuing our own interests while making the very best of partnerships too. In Europe, we call it strategic autonomy. In Latin America and the Caribbean, you call it sovereignty. But we mean the same thing. We don't want dependencies. We don't believe in spheres of influence. We don't want the world divided into blocks. In a world increasingly dominated by the idea of short-term deals and transaction, the EU will be firm and pragmatic in defending its interests and values. But we believe the best way to do this is through long-term partnerships with reliable, trusted partners. In uncertain times, the stability built on trust attracts also investment, fosters opportunity, and allows societies to thrive. This is our proposition, because this is who we are in the European Union. Our history has taught us the painful but crucial lesson. Long-term reciprocal cooperation yields better outcomes than selfish, short-term competition. A transaction might bring a quick win, and we will not shy away from them, but trust allows both sides to take calculated risks and make investments to greater value over time. This is, by the way, the logic of Global Gateway Investment Agenda. That is also why Latin America and Caribbean are part of the solution, not the problem. It's not merely a regional partner for EU. It is a global and geopolitical partner playing a crucial role in shaping the future of the world. We are the region's largest investor, 36%, third largest trading partner, and leading donor. The EU is one of the world's most open economies, with over 70% of imports entering tariff-free. We believe in fair and mutual beneficial economic partnerships. Our agreements with the 22 LAC countries have driven a 45% increase in trade value since 2013. And the collaboration between our regions goes beyond trade and economic rules. First, our collaboration is essential in addressing the global challenges. Together we defend, and still we must reform the international rules-based order. Because in a world of giants, rules are the protection, the nuclear weapon of smaller states. Together, we also promote peace, security, democracy, and multilateralism. We represent a third of United Nations members. The EU and Latin American and Caribbean countries have often been united in defending international law and confronting global threats like Russia's aggression in Ukraine. a war that undermines the core principles of sovereignty and international law that LAC has contributed to create. Second, Latin America and Caribbean is central to Europe's economic security and de-risking strategy. Just as Europe plays an important role in Latin American and Caribbean's diversification, stability and growth, with EU investments supporting almost 3 million jobs in the region. For Europe, this is not about countering China, but about defending our shared values and interests. We value our partnership with Latin American and Caribbean in its own right. And third, LAC is an indispensable partner in today's world. It remains a cultural and democratic powerhouse. It is home to the planet's richest biodiversity, half of the world's tropical forests, and is a key ally in the fight against climate change. With an impressive renewable energy capacity accounting for 60% of the power mix, double the world average, and rich in critical raw materials, LAC plays a vital role in our green and digital transition agenda. President von der Leyen will attend the CARICOM summit in Barbados this week. In a fast-changing and complex world, this high-level visit matters. The Caribbean's voice in the global south is very strong, and its role in climate advocacy is crucial, given its vulnerability to natural disasters. Climate-related natural disasters have tripled in the region in the last 50 years. We must tackle global challenges and stand up for multilateral solutions together. As we look into the future, our partnership must focus on our priorities. The triple transition, green, digital and fair, is at the core of our collaboration. These three pillars are essential for our growth and resilience in both regions. The triple transition is deeply embedded in our trade and investment agreements and is a cornerstone of the global gateway. This strategy is our offer to build sustainable, high-quality infrastructure and do it together. To scale up in the region, we are working with our Latin American and Caribbean partners. We need to deliver so that these projects create value, strengthen bi-regional value chains, and boost economic strength and security for both sides. But beyond these three key transitions, as we confront a key year with the summit in November, there are three emerging priorities that must guide our actions: security and justice, democratic governance, and global justice and multilateralism. First, on security and justice. Organized crime and illicit trafficking, including drugs, are a threat to both of our regions. They fuel corruption, undermine governance, and destabilize our communities, fueling migration. Tackling this challenge requires more structured cooperation and coordinated operations as well, from law enforcement to judicial collaboration. Enforcement alone is not enough. We must address the root causes like poverty, inequality, and lack of opportunities for vulnerable populations, particularly youth. This is why we propose to work towards EU-LAC Alliance for Citizens' Security. Together, we can create safer communities, protect citizens, and uphold the rule of law. Secondly, democracy. This is the cornerstone of our partnerships. Democracy, human rights, good governance are our strength. Yet, democracy faces enemies all over the world, be it in corruption or in disinformation, particularly on the social media platforms. And there is extreme political polarization. These issues strain institutions, erode trust, and undermine the reputation of well-functioning democracies too. We must confront this problem together. Our electoral observation missions requested by elect countries contribute to credible elections. In Venezuela, the results of the election were not credible. The authorities missed a key opportunity to respect the people's will and ensure a democratic transition with the guarantees for all. And this is why we stand by all those upholding democratic values and will continue to work with all Venezuelans, regional and international partners to foster dialogue and a democratic way out of the crisis. Democracy and the rule of law are not just who we are, they are also good for the business. They make innovation and investment possible. Together, and through our trade agreements and global gateway, our job together is to turn the values into value of economy. To briefly conclude, ladies and gentlemen, long-awaited breakthroughs, such as agreements with Mexico and Mercosur, show this moment of opportunity and responsibility. They also show our commitment to closer relations. As we enter 2025, several milestones will shape our partnership. Already mentioned, the CELAC-EU Summit in Colombia, the EU-CELAC meeting of Ministers of Foreign Affairs that I will host in Brussels here, summits with Brazil and Mexico, the first Association Council under the EU Central America Association Agreement, the upcoming EU-Plus meeting on internal security, which will be already in March, and the Eurolat parliamentary meeting in Peru. The European Parliament has been a steadfast supporter of the EU-LAC relationship through the good but also the bad, and I'm sure it will remain a key ally in our common endeavour. The EU's approach will be pragmatic, transparent and built on mutual respect. We negotiate in good faith, we cooperate in line with our interests, and we protect our values by engaging and working together. This is the European way. This is the way we do things. So thank you very much and very happy to be here. Thank you.